everyone, it's Donna here from Donna's Creative Corner, and I am here today to show you what I've been playing with this morning, today. It all started with going through my stash, and I saw that I have these little CD envelopes that I purchased not long ago. This one's coffee stained. They're about 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and I wanted to find out what I could do with these. I started off by finding a piece of wallpaper that had a pretty image on it to show through the window, and that's what I have here. Sorry for the glare. There's a pretty rose on it, and then I thought it needs something else, and a clear window brought me back to my card making days when I would make shaker cards. So I went and got my sequins and beads out, and I put some sequins in here and made a little shaker card. I was like, oh, that would be cool for a little embellishment on a journal. Then my mind started going, and I wanted to make something more interactive, and what I came up with are these. You can use them as journal cards. They have the shaker in it. Come down a little bit. It's front and back. It's see-through, so you can see the sequins from both sides. You can either use it as a journal card, or what I want to do with it is a flip in the album. And here's my prototype. I made myself an ideas journal. Thanks to Gail Agostinelli for that idea. She has several of these where she keeps all of her ideas of things that she's tried and uses in her journals. But my prototype, where is it? Is right here. It's just a square one. It has tulle instead of the shiny, and it flips out, and it's held on with just a strip of muslin fabric. I'm actually going to put another strip on the inside to reinforce it some. And from that, I wanted something that was not only decorative but functional too, which led me to these. There's space for journaling here. It's really decorative up here, and on the back it's space for journaling as well. So I'm going to attempt to show you how I make these. I have a die cutting machine, and I have lots of dies, and these are made with nesting dies. And here's the set that I used for these, and I don't know who these were made by. I believe I got them on eBay, and they're a scalloped floral shape, and they all nest within each other. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a little teeny tiny one in the middle. It's probably not even a half an inch. So there's 7 dies in this set, and I used the top 2 dies for this shaker card. I started off with a sheet of paper from this 8x8 paper pack, and I believe I got this from Joann's Maps, Text, and Ledgers stack, and it has all kinds of great papers for journaling. So I took 2 of these, one for the front and one for the back, and I just picked out one. And they're 8x8. I cut them in half, so these tags are 8x4. So we've got this collage paper on this side and some grid paper on this side. So what you do, you put those together because they're going to be front and back, and take the smallest of the dies and put it on the paper. I cut them both together so that they match. You want to leave enough room at the top if you plan on stitching them like I did. You have room for stitching. And then you take this and run it through the die cut machine just like that. And what you get is these two pieces that are perfectly aligned. You got your pattern on the front and your grid on the back. Then what you want to do, you're also going to need to cut, I put cardstock border around each of the openings on the front and the back. So you're going to need to cut 2 of those. And to do those, you want to take the smallest one is the one that cut the window, and the largest one, oops, I'm going to do it the other way around. You're going to take those and match them so that they're evenly spaced all the way around. Let me see if I've got it, like that. And then take a piece of masking tape or washi tape and tape them together. Especially if you're going to be doing multiples, like this morning I did 4 at one time. So this just makes it easier. You've already got your perfectly spaced sandwich. You're going to take your piece of cardstock and cut this out twice, one for the front and one for the back, and what you get is this here. You've got your perfect border that matches all the way around. And that just goes, I'm going to use my art glitter glue. On the back of this was some scratch paper. I'm just going to put a little bead of art glitter glue all the way around. And this will match perfectly because this die is perfectly symmetrical on all sides. So that matches perfectly. Tack it down. So you've got your border there. And I'm going to do the same thing with the back side with another piece. I'm hoping I am staying in frame as I'm not used to doing tutorials, so bear with me, be patient with me. I'm doing the best I can. I plan to do more tutorials and that kind of thing in the coming year, so I'm starting to practice. So that goes on there perfectly. And just move it around until you got it just right. There you go. Smush it down so that it's on there good. Okay, now you've got your front and back. And what you're going to need to do now is on the inside of both pieces, put whatever it is you're going to encapsulate your charms with. I used, in this case, some tulle. You can use acetate like there was here, like packaging from something. You can use sheer fabric like an organza. I am going to try some lace with this one. I have this beautiful vintage lace that I'm going to try. So you're going to need to cut 2 pieces, one for each side. I'm going to use my die as my guide at how big I need to cut it. Just big enough so that you can enclose the there's one piece. And there's a second piece. You don't want it too big because you don't want it hanging over the edge of the paper. And then once you get it glued on, I'm going to trim it down anyway. So it doesn't really matter too much at this stage. So now I've got Yeah, just big enough, and it does hang off, but that's okay. I'm gonna trim it. So once the glue kind of sets up. Now this lace has a right side and a wrong side, barely. This is the right side, so I want the right side to be facing out. So I'm gonna glue it down with the right side down, and all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a little bead of glue. You can use any glue. I like the art glitter glue because it grabs pretty fast and it has a precise tip. I'll make sure I'm still in frame here. You want to go kind of close to the edge. You don't want your little beads and sequins getting away. Actually, when you glue the two pieces together, that's when it's most important that you get the edges sealed really good. Alright, so I'm going to put that down. I like to use a piece of wax paper. Helps keep the glue off the fingers. I'm going to press that down really good. Okay, there's that one. I'm going to do the other one the same way. And let's see, that's the wrong side, this is the right side, so right side down. You want to get it as taut as you can. You're going to push down the edges, get the glue into the lace. There we go. Oh, I think that's going to be pretty. Okay, while that glue is setting up a little bit, I'm just going to show you some of the cards that I made with the shaker. My shaker cards. I have beads and sequins and little hearts, and this one has the piece that was cut out from making this on the inside, and this one's very similar. Both birthday cards with coordinating cardstock. There's a piece that was cut out from making the border, and that's on the inside. And then you can use different shapes. You can use, like this one I use hearts. You can make it with squares, you can make it with circles, any kind of nesting dies that you might have. If you, or you can, this would be kind of difficult to cut out, maybe with a punch. If you have a circle punch and you can reach the area that you're trying to do. So those are some of the cards, some of my shaker cards. Okay, now the next step, I'm going to trim down. I need to trim down this lace. I don't need all that lace. It's going to get in the way of sealing up the card. I don't want to get too close to the glue. Okay, this one. Come on. This will be a miracle if I can get through this without the phone ringing. I've been getting so many junk phone calls lately. One I got yesterday, they left a message, which is rare, and it was all in, I think, Japanese. It's like, okay. I don't know what you're trying to sell me, but I don't want it. Okay, so those are trimmed. Next thing is, and this is how I found is easiest to get the beads and sequins inside where you want them. Take one of them and put your little pile in the center of it. Now I've got my selection of sequins here and more here. I have so many sequins. I'm going to be probably selling kits with some. Well, let me know if you're interested in either purchasing some of these pre-made or purchasing the elements to make them. I might consider doing that. I'm looking for different things to offer in my shop, my Etsy shop, which will be open after the first of the year. Okay, here I have a few black, white, and silver ones. Come down a little bit. I'm going to make the little pile here. I have these teeny tiny iridescent cream sequins. I'm going to put a little pile of those. I have these larger iridescent sequins. I'm going to put a few of those in there. Those are really pretty. I'll put a little bit more. It's hard to judge how much to put. Like when I put these together, I thought, well, shoot, I could have put more. I could have put more in there, but you never know until you get it together. So I have some white iridescent sequins. I'll put some in there. Now here's some little hearts. I'll put a few of those in there. Give it a little bit of color. And then I like to put some beads in there too. Where are my beads? I have some teeny tiny, oops, I better be careful I don't knock that. Some teeny tiny little beads, which are perfect for these shaker cards. Alright, so I've got my selection of beads in there. Alright. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to shake you there. Okay, so I have my little pile all in the middle. Now I'm going to set this aside so I don't bump it. This is the one I'm going to put the glue on. Oops, get over there. I'm going to put glue on this one and set it on top of that one. For the middle, I'm going to use, for around the edge, because I want to make sure that is nice and sealed in, I'm going to use my Beacon 3-in-1, or you can use Fabri-Tac, because this is where it's important to make sure it's sealed in, because you don't want your little sequins getting lost inside the card. So I'm going to make sure I have it all the way around the edges of the scallops. Whoops, sorry. I'm not used to working with it with a camera over my head. There we go. That's all the way around. Now for the outside, I'm just going to use the Art Glitter Glue because I found it glues paper to paper really well, and it's easier for me to control where I'm putting the glue. All the way around the edge. Now this isn't as important if you're going to sew it like I did mine, because the stitching will hold the two pages together. This part is very important, but around the edge not as much. And I am going to sew these. So bring this one back in. And carefully, let's see if I can do this without getting my head in the picture. Line it up really good. Okay, make sure your beads are staying in the middle. Okay, I think that's it. Well, I might be a little bit off, but I can always trim it. So press it really good, especially around the edge of where your, yeah, I'm a little bit off, but oh well. And of course I'm doing it on camera. And there you go. So you can still see the beads and sequins through the lace. The lace adds another texture to it. I kind of like it with the lace. I'm going to make another one with the other half that I started there. And now you can decorate it in any way you want. I just added some tea stained paper at the bottom for journaling. I stitched around the edge, and the back I used paper that was suitable for journaling anyway. So that's how I made my, see I'm a little bit over there, I'm just gonna, that's easily fixed. Yeah, all better. I'm going to ink around the edges, sew it, probably put some more paper in here, and I have another journaling card or a flip for my albums. I have a bunch of albums done. Well, actually I'm going to go back through them and put more stuff in them that I am going to be selling on my channel and on my Etsy store after the first of the year. I am working on getting my store together. I have to start charging sales tax for purchases within Florida, the state of Florida, which is where I am. So I had to apply for a sales tax number, and I have to enter every single zip code in Florida and their tax rate, because every county in Florida has their own tax rate, anywhere between 6 and 8.5%. So I have to enter all of those zip codes in. I've been doing a little bit at a time every day until I get tired, and then I quit. And then I come in my craft room and I do stuff like this. So I'm still trying to learn, how to do listings and do my write-ups, and I need to take pictures and all of that. So that's what's been keeping me busy lately, is trying to figure out Etsy and what I want to sell on in my store. But I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Let me know if you're interested in purchasing anything like this, and I might consider making some and putting them in my shop. That's all I have for today. Bye for now. Oh, I forgot to mention something. When you get done making all of these cuts, you're going to end up with a pile of these offcuts. For each card, at least this type, I use the not so thick paper, so when you cut them they stick together, kind of. So you'll end up with 1, 2, 3 of these for every one of those you do. So I figure, what am I going to do with those? And the sky's the limit with those, because those are great decorations for your journals. Where's my other one? I took this one and the next size down of the die. The next size down cuts this one. I just cut that with newspaper, dictionary paper, and then a 1.5 inch circle punch, and then a little die cut in the the center of it. And this one here, I just did the next size down and put a little little piece that I cut from a children's book in the center. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do with these, put a brad up at the top and put it through a page, and that way you swivel it and there's a secret message underneath. Swivel it back and you have a little decoration. So I think that'll be cool on some albums too, or some journals. So those are just a few ideas of what to do with your offcuts from making these. Okay, now, bye for now.